Psych. Allow me to introduce you to Sonolus. Do you want to practice difficult sections? Do you want to play custom charts for your favorite songs? Do you want to play charts from dead games? If you want to do literally any of the above, stick around, because you're going to want to have this app. Let's start with installation. On Android devices, simply download the APK file from the official website. Once it's downloaded, open the file to initiate installation. If you're greeted with a pop-up for unknown sources, follow the settings to enable installation. Continue with the installation and then you're done. On iOS devices, it's a lot more involved, but you have two options. Most people will have to sideload Sonolus, and to do that, you will need a computer handy. Firstly, make sure you have both iTunes and iCloud set up and running. If you use Windows and don't have them installed and ready, I'll leave a link down in the description where you can download it. Once you're ready, plug your device into your computer. Make sure it's trusted, and then go into iTunes to turn on Sync over Wi-Fi. Next, on your computer, search for Sonolus and go to their official site. Click on iOS, and you will see a set of instructions. For this installation, we will use AltStore to sideload Sonolus. Click on AltStore, then Get AltStore. Down here, choose the OS you are using. I have a Windows computer, so I will click on Alt Server Windows. Install it like normal, and launch it once it's ready. And then with your device plugged in, go to AltStore in the tray, and then install AltStore on your device. You will need to sign in with your Apple ID. The instructions may differ a bit if you use macOS, so I'll leave a link in the description for instructions on how to get this set up on macOS. Once it installs, go into your device settings and look for VPN and device management. You will find a new profile under your Apple ID. Press on that and trust the source. Then go down to Privacy and Security to enable developer mode. You will need to restart your device. Once you trust it, head back into the app, then sign in with your Apple ID. Once you have done that, go onto Safari on your device and download the Sonolus IPA from the official website. Then head back into AltStore to sideload the app. And then you're done. Now here's the second method. If you're lucky, you might be able to snag a spot in TestFlight. You can join their Discord server to get notified for when they might have more spots. Make sure you have TestFlight downloaded prior to there being spots opening up. Okay, so now that you're in the app and went through the initial setup, you're ready to start playing, right? Nah. You might be wondering where everything is. In order to start playing, you will need to add different servers to the app. I recommend heading over to the Sonolus Discord server to find the servers that you need. For demonstration purposes, I will be loading the Chart Scienvis and Project Sekai servers. The Project Sekai server allows you to play all the official Project Sekai charts, while Chart Scienvis allows you to play custom-made Project Sekai charts. I'll go over them more later, but for now, once you load them in, you are this close to playing. Let's continue. After selecting a server you want to play, you want to look for the levels button. For setup purposes, I recommend picking a chart from the official Project Sekai server that you are confident with. This will help you calibrate Sonolus to match your playstyle better. You can fine-tune your search using the Advanced button here. Prior to playing, make sure to go into Configuration to change your note speed to how you have it set up in Project Sekai. You can also toggle on some other options, but we'll talk about that later. Okay, so you played your first chart. Awesome. Then you might have noticed something is off. Depending on the device, the music is ever so slightly delayed. Here's what you want to do. In Configuration, scroll to the very bottom. You'll see offset options for two different types of offsets. You have your audio offset and your input offset. Because the audio was slightly delayed, we want to adjust the audio offset. Which one should I pick though? Level audio offset only adjusts the offset for that specific chart you chose. Server audio offset applies to every single chart in the server. and device audio offset applies to every server you load into Sonolus. Because this audio delay is present across the entire server, you want to adjust the server audio offset. I get confused very easily when setting offsets, but here's a general idea. If your tap comes before the audio, then offset forwards. If your tap comes after the audio, then offset backwards. For those playing with sound effects, I found that an offset of around 50 milliseconds works for me, so I will go ahead and toggle the server audio offset to 50 milliseconds. Now that's a lot better. If you play without sound effects, I found my offset to be around double or triple that. You should experiment with the offset to see what is best for you. Now let's talk about input offset. Ideally, you shouldn't have to adjust these values unless necessary, but if you are getting a lot of grades, then this is where the input offset comes in. Like the audio offsets, there are different options, one for engine and one for device. Engine input offset applies to all servers that use the same engine. You can see which engine a server or chart uses by looking here. Anyway, to understand how to set this up, play a chart through normally. Then after you finish the song, scroll to the graphs on the results page and select the accuracy graph. Look at your mean value. Now what you want to do is set your engine input offset to this value. Your accuracy should be better after this, theoretically. Hopefully that should get you set up to start playing normally. Now let's talk about some other things that you can do. Let's briefly go over some of the functions here. If you are setting this up to practice charts, some of these functions may prove to be useful. Upon playing the chart, if you come across a difficult section, you can pause before that section and add a marker. This lets you go back to that section to practice until you have that section down. If you want to dive deeper into the chart, the watch function basically puts the chart on auto so you can observe and play along. The preview button allows you to view the entire chart, kind of like sheet music if you're into that. Tutorial just goes over how to play Project Set, guys, so we don't need to worry about that one. At the bottom, we have the save and share buttons. Saving a chart lets you save your favorite charts locally, so you can play them even if you're offline. Once you have created a collection, you can add your favorite charts in here. And share lets you share the chart to your friends. Yeah. We've gone over the configuration a few times already, but let's dive deeper. Here where it says engine, you can customize the way the game looks and sounds. For example, I can change the background. Next we have your typical options. I think these options are pretty straightforward, but level speed here might be worth noting, because it lets you slow down a chart for further analysis. Other notable options you might want to toggle are note speed, sound effects, and vertical stage cover. You can leave the rest of the toggles as is. Audio is pretty self-explanatory. Gameplay auto exit changes what happens after the end of a song. You should probably leave this as is. Then we have the UI toggle. Here you can change some of the UI elements inside the game. For example, primary metric is displayed on the top left corner during gameplay, and secondary metric is displayed on the top right corner. You can change these to be different things. You can also change the size and opacity of some other elements, such as the combo and judgment texts. Lastly, we have the offsets, which we have touched on already. And that is just about all that I have for you, I think. Anyway, I'll end with some gameplay footage. Feel free to stay around for it because it's extremely amusing. If you found this video useful, do like and subscribe. I'll see y'all folks later.